It's such a thrill for me to represent our newest member company, Athene, as a new life company member of the NSSTA, the National Structured Settlements Trade Association. And for this interview, as part of our podcast series, Settle Smart, we are thrilled to have with us Richard McEvoy, a Senior Vice President at Athene, and Sean Brennan, the Executive Vice President, who I understand will be overseeing the structured settlements activities for Athene. And I can tell you right now, gentlemen, Richard and Sean, that every member that listens to this or watches this podcast will be wishing that they were in my seat, having the chance to ask you some of these questions because of their overwhelmingly positive competitive nature in the industry. If we could maybe start out and just give me a little bit of the corporate structure at Athene. What's the name of the company that will be issuing the policies? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Eric, first of all, thank you so much for having me. We are delighted to start to get to know the industry. It's such an important part of the insurance industry that structured settlements and the work you and the industry do is just so important to people's lives. And I think that's an extension, a very important extension of Athene's business. So we're looking forward to being able to add value, not just to the industry, but also directly to people's lives. So thank you very much for having us. We're really excited. In terms of corporate structure, Athene is a wholly owned subsidiary of Apollo Global Management. We're the insurance arm. Apollo is the asset management arm. But the insurance entity, our insurance business is headquartered in Iowa, and our flagship insurer is Athene Annuity and Life Company of Iowa, and that'll be the primary issuer of structured settlement policies for us.
Great. I'm so happy. By the way, I did know the answer to that, but wanted you to say it because Iowa is a very important state to us in our industry. And I'm going to be very cynical and put on my politician's hat, my lobbyist hat. Senator Chuck Grassley, the senior senator from Iowa, is probably our strongest supporter of structured settlements in the U.S. Congress. When I saw him just before the holidays, I mentioned that Athene had just joined our association. And he said, and please don't quote me on this, but he said, well, it's about time. You've got a really great member with Athene. So he's a good member. It's great to have you as part of our corporate structure in our family with the structured settlements industry.
Look, just quickly, Eric, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Iowa is one of the best insurance regulators globally, and the sophistication, the understanding of the importance of insurance, not just to insurers, but also to individuals, makes it such a great place to do business. So I couldn't agree with you more.
We're also, as an association, we are focused in on states and the state insurance regulations because that's so critically important to everything that we do. We are recognized by every single state insurance department as a qualified educator, provider of information. We are probably the leading, Debbie might correct me, but maybe the leading association in the country at providing education, training, information regarding structured settlements, all of it approved by and pushed forward by state departments of insurance. Iowa being one of the leading ones in the entire country. So it's great to have you with us. Let me ask you sort of an AM Best question. AM Best is the key rating indicator in the structured settlements industry. Athene was upgraded by AM Best to A+ this past June. Can you tell me, did this upgrade help you make a decision to enter the market?
Well, I think it reinforced the decision we'd already made to enter the business. We look at our balance sheet and we have very plain vanilla liabilities. That is out of discipline, not out of chance. And so we look for opportunities to deploy our value proposition, bring it to new parts of the insurance industry, and structured settlements was top of the list of opportunities to do what we do best, provide guaranteed income, provide retirement certainty or benefit certainty to individuals. And so structured settlements was, again, top of the list for us in terms of entering. AM Best was probably an accelerant for the volume expectations we think we could participate in. But I think we were, again, very disciplined stewards of capital, and this fits very much in line with with that core value proposition. So we were going to do it anyway, but I think I joked that my boss called me the next day and said, "Okay, now our expectations are even greater for what you can do."
That's fabulous. Um, I think I know the answer to this, but I'd like to hear it from you all. How big is Athene annuity and life, and what are the reserves?
So I think for a long time, Bill Wheeler, who's now vice chair of Athene, would jokingly say that Athene is the biggest life insurance company you've never heard of. I think we can't say that as often now because I think most of the industry, most of the
More
people,
people have heard of you. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I think we are surprisingly large to a lot of people. We've got $300 billion of gross invested assets, and we've got ambitious goals for growth, but also a very high expectation that we'll continue the success story we've had over the last years.
Can you tell me, because I've heard from a number of people in our industry that they're all taking credit for persuading you, not you personally, Sean, but the company to get into the structured settlements business. Can you tell me how did structured settlements market hit your radar as a potential business line for Athene? And if you want to, laud credit on some individual, you're more than happy to do so.
Well, you should definitely agree with all of them. It does take a village to support this. But we did do a lot of market testing with people in the industry. You and I have talked about this in the past. For a very small industry, it's got an incredible concentration of talented people who care deeply about structured settlements and the work they do. And so we really did want to engage with people and say, we have this hypothesis that Athene can add value. Athene and its predecessor companies have actually participated in the space about a dozen years ago, so we're familiar with the reserves, the liability type. But really, can we be as effective as we want to be in every channel we participate in? Because we don't participate in many. So a lot of people did help us along the way. But I think it was really just looking at growth opportunities. We are the largest writer of retail annuities and institutional annuities globally. And so looking for opportunities for growth have to be attractive. They have to be consistent with our risk management philosophy and core value proposition. And structured settlements was something we looked at and said, this is an industry, at least from a reserves perspective, fits right in line with what we do best. But can we be effective in building a business? And I think that's where a lot of the conversations, Eric, you've had with others, I think there are a number of people who have helped us along the way and reinforce our idea that we can be successful here.
I did a little bit of research getting ready to have this very intimidating conversation with the two of you. And that's Athene is not just highly ranked, it's number one in retail fixed annuities. It's number one in pension risk transfer business. I mean, you're an impressive business that I'd never heard of. And I had heard of Liberty Life. I had heard of Aviva. So I knew you've grown, if you will, by picking up quite impressive business activities. What are your goals in the structured settlement market? And when I asked you that, we just entered the 2024, and the industry focuses in on this quite aggressively. And I think it makes good sense at $9.48 billion in premium. There's a more important number from my perspective as a lobbyist, and I think for most of our industry as well. And it's just shy of 40,000 cases. Those are people. They're not numbers. They're families that were injured, that are hurting, that are now their lives are protected. Their economics are secure. They can meet their family's goals and objectives. I mean, I'm on my soapbox, but for me, that's the issue. And that's what resonates with members of Congress, the Internal Revenue Service, and others in the administration. Now that I've set you up, what are your goals in the structured settlements market?
I think you're right to flag pension risk transfer and retail. We didn't take all of those on at once. It's been a journey over the last decade and change. And we started out in reinsurance actually, and then migrated to the retail space, and then to pension risk transfer. So we're very deliberate about how we enter each of these businesses because we want to get it right in multiple capacities. So our goal for those businesses and for the structured settlement business is to be a preferred provider in the respective industries. What does that mean? A few things. One, we want to ultimately provide security to the end customer. We also want to provide good financials. And then finally, and most importantly, is the level of customer service. And you touched on this, Eric, in terms of the importance to the end customer. So I think we've done a really good job with each of the industries that we've entered, and they're the goals I think that will govern the structured settlement business as well.
Richard, very well said. You have done an amazing job. I agree with you completely. Now, in addition to structured settlements, there are a number of alternative products that are being offered by some NSSTA members today that offer tax-free and tax-deferred benefits. What products do you anticipate offering? And
Certainly,
I realize that you're getting there, so you're not there right now, but maybe
yeah.
you can give us some ideas of where you anticipate what you'll be anticipating offering.
Yeah, I know we've got certainly ambitious goals in terms of growth, but measured against we need to get it right in terms of execution, and we absolutely plan to enter the both tax qualified and non-qualified space over time. And I think the other thing to flag, and Sean may have touched on this, that when we take on new businesses, we like to be custom in our approach, and are very much a solutions provider as part of our DNA. So whether it's the distinction between tax-free or tax-deferred or any other segment of the business, we want to be part of the innovation and the future direction of the business. So that I think is something we're going to add over time as well.
Very well stated. Thank you very much. I've heard this from a number of people. As you might imagine, they're interested in knowing when you do expect to go live, offering products through structured settlement agencies.
Yeah, it's going to be the second half of this year that we're targeting, and we're kind of working through the specific strategy and what that's going to look like day one. But that's our goal. We know that's pretty ambitious, and there's a lot of work to do. And it gets back to the comment about getting it right day one. So we're investing a lot of time and energy right now to work towards that goal.
Well, that there is the NSSTA's annual meeting is in late April, 1st of May, in New Orleans. It'd be a perfect venue to announce that you're going live, not to put more pressure on you at all.
We'll be there.
Rated ages are helpful when they make their benefits even more advantageous for injured people. Do you plan to making rated ages available?
Yes, ultimately. Our goal, as I mentioned, is to be the preferred provider within structured settlements, and that applies across the board. Rated ages is a really important segment of that market. We need to work through, our strategy, timing, product, et cetera, over the next few months. But the short answer is yes, we do over time plan to offer rated ages.
Great to hear. I know you have structured settlement policies in your portfolio today.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you how much. I'm not sure that matters too much, but I assume this gives you and Sean and your team a degree of comfort that you can effectively process new policies in the business as you're going forward.
Yeah, we're very familiar with the risk profile because we have it in our balance sheet already. Also, I'd say, all that we do is income solutions of one sort or another. So the structured settlement business is very adjacent to everything we do today. And retail, for example, is a good example where there's a huge amount of operational infrastructure, pricing discipline, and processes behind that we'll be able to leverage into structured settlement. So we're off to a running start, both in terms of the alignment of our risk profile and also in terms of the operational infrastructure. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's fantastic. Where are you with your coding software at this point?
We are exploring a couple of different vendors, but we haven't tied it down entirely yet. So we'll have that buttoned down, I'd say, within the next month or so.
Now, the one question that everyone wants the answer to is, will you use your existing marketing teams, or will you seek out professionals with background experience in structured settlements? And are you willing to share those names and home phone numbers with all of our members so that they can begin to reach out and touch your people personally and directly?
So we absolutely intend to hire the best and the brightest. I think we approach this new business line with a lot of humility. Obviously, there's a lot of value we think we can bring and extend from our core business, but there is so much institutional knowledge in the industry and concentrated in a small handful of people. So I think we will again look to hire the best and the brightest, and I hope we do.
Sean and Richard, I really appreciate you taking the time on a very cold Friday afternoon here in Washington, D.C. It's great to meet you both virtually. I have seen your faces before, and I'm hearing some wonderful things about the two of you from many of those very talented professionals in our industry. And I look forward to working with you in the years to come. And please don't hesitate to call on me, far more importantly, Debbie, for any assistance that we can in helping you acclimate inside our trade association. And we're thrilled to have Athene as the newest member of the National Structured Settlements Trade Association. So thank you both very much.
Eric, thanks so much for having us. We are delighted to be a part of it. We are looking forward to really making a positive impact. And I think you are right to call out the 40,000 cases and the lives associated with those cases. And we are looking forward to bringing value, not just the intermediaries and the consultants in the space, but also obviously to make a positive impact on people's lives. So we are as excited as can be to make an impact.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.